So this happened. So welcome to the final episode of Season 1. And whilst it's not an anticlimax, it kind of is, because we have been promoted, we've won the division, but we didn't win it on our terms. I planned on coming back for the next game, which was Lynn at home, where we were 5 points clear. But unfortunately, one of the teams we were playing against slipped up. And yeah, the title was then handed to us. So kind of disappointing. So as you can see, with 2 games to spare, we are 8 points clear, from Larwick. So yeah, Lynn ended up slipping up, losing at home, and that's why I assumed it was going to be a battle we were going to have to continue. But no, they slipped up at home, so that saw us being crowned PostNord Liga 1 champions. So the board have set initial budget. We've got 32,000 wages now to spend. I think we were like 10. So the wages have tripled for next season. And we have got 50k to spend, but I strongly doubt we're not going to spend any of that. And we are just going to focus on bringing in free transfers and trying to develop the club to stay in the division. So we have confirmed our best ever finish in the division. I bring glory to the club. Happy days. 14-1 pre-season odds, so we'll take that. The board are obviously delighted with the promotion, and we are, 3 years ahead of schedule in terms of when they hoped we could maybe look at winning promotion. And then it says we're playoff bound. Well, we're not, because we've just automatically won promotion. So, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump forward to the end of the season and have a proper recap of not only Egerton but the Norwegian league system in general. And then we are prepared for the season next year. So the election day has happened and Ola Malmo is the new managing director. So Matthias has left. Sad times. The personal message is he wants to thank me for my patience during the stressful time for everyone involved in the club. There's no plans to provide the club with any investment at the minute. Bit upsetting. And the expectations are pretty much exactly the same as they were before. So the season is over then, and we won our last 2 games. We will look at the fixtures in a second. And as you can see, the season's been fairly successful. Our core fan base has gone up to 32%, Fairweather up to 12%. The family fan base and hardcore has dropped a little bit, with our social media following rising by 3.1k to 30.6. So it's not too bad. We can be fairly pleased with that. So the expectations for next season have been put to us, and they want us to attempt to avoid relegation, which means technically, if we did go down, we would probably keep our job. But I'm not really aiming for that. I think I would like to have a mid-table finish in the second tier next year. I think that would be a very good achievement, especially because we've still got a lot of young players coming through. I'd be very, very pleased with that, to be honest. So I've flipped the season upside down so we can see the last few games clearly without my head in the way. We played Brattvåg away after the last Livecom got a 1-0 victory. We then played Vard Haugesund at home and got a 1-0 victory. Steen Strangland on the score sheet there. And then we played Traff away from home with Chris Slaveland getting both the goals in that game. Then we played Lynn Borussia picking up a penalty. And then we've just beat Valerenga B, which did actually relegate them. And Borussia scored 2 and Madsen on the score sheet as well. And that saw us win the league quite comfortably in the end by 10 points over Arendal. So Lynn and Fram Larvik both completely collapsed near the end of the season, which meant Arendal actually snuck in to the playoffs. And they will be playing against, I think it was Storblink, wasn't it, from the division above. So let's go into this and have a look. Oh yeah, okay. So it'll first be this playoff from this division. So Stjørndals and Blink will face Arendal, and then the winner goes against, was it Moss? So Bærum go up as well. Let's check the Obosliga again. Yeah, Moss potentially could come down. But as you can see, Hood, who got to a cup final not so long ago, was it? Let's have a look. Norwegian Cup winners in 2012, when they weren't a top flight team, you can see here. The year after that, they came third in the second tier. So a club from the second tier won the Norwegian Cup in 2012. There's a dream for next season, maybe. But as you can see, our local side, Sandnes Ulf, have been relegated. So while we are going up, Sandnes Ulf, in a new stadium, by the way, built in 2020, a 6,000 capacity, have been relegated. So maybe they've got some players we can look at. A little side note is the former Egerson manager, Orjan Bijan, is the manager of Sandnes Ulf. He's the caretaker manager, it says here. He's been in charge for 21 games. And yeah, after 4 years at Egerson, he's ended up going up to Sandnes Ulf, being the caretaker manager there, and has unfortunately got them relegated. So before we have a look around the other divisions, let's have a look at our players from the season then. The most appearances was Chris Slaveland with 27. Our left back Madsen, who does want to leave, had the second highest at 26. Then our goalkeeper was 25. A couple of injuries kept him out of a few games. And then Larson there with 22 starts, 3 subs. Midskoog with 22 starts, 1 sub appearance. In terms of goals then, top goal scorers Volas with only 9 goals. So we didn't have a single player make it in to double figures this season. Berisha though with 8 goals in 10 starts. Slaveland with 6. Huseth with 5. Larson with 5. Dalby with 5. And then also Mikkelsen with 5. So we did spread the goals around. But I think going into next season, we definitely need someone who's going to hit them double figures for us to help us remain in the division. In terms of assists, again, nobody in double figures. So Hoyseth with 7 and Chris with 7. So Chris was up there as one of our best goal scorers and assist makers. Volas there with 6, so top goal scorer and third in assists. Madsen with 6, and then Fanny with 3, and also Steve Mikkelsen with 3. In terms of our squad for next season, currently, in our first team, we don't have a single goalkeeper. At right back, we have Fanny, and then we have Skogen, who is more of a central defender. In central defence, we have Steinskog and Skogen, which is completely wrong. That's slightly wrong because we're missing a player. Jurgensen is contracted for next season. He is a central defender. Why is he not showing up on my next list here? Hello? I'm slightly confused why he's not showing up in any of these lists. He doesn't show up on our youth, add youth prospects. Okay, well, we know we've got 3 defenders. Left back wise, we don't have a single left back at the minute. Defensive mid, we have Sether and Chris Slaveland. We also have Strangerland. His contract isn't up, is it? His contract is for next year as well. And he can clearly play defensive mid. I'm very, very confused about this squad planner. It doesn't seem to be working properly. That's very, very annoying when we're trying to use it to plan for next season. So let's have a look for next season then, shall we? So defence-wise, I think we're going to be struggling. We need to maybe look at securing Midskoog. He does want to move to a bigger club, but the fact that we're getting promotion, I hope he will then decide that he does want to stick around, because I think he's easily good enough for the next division and could be a big player for us next year alongside some younger talent in that defence. Merlin's already leaving us and Madsen wants to leave. Storlison, I think I'm going to try to convince to stay. He would be a very good option as a backup right back and left back. So hopefully we can convince him to stick around. Williams on £375 a week we are going to let go. Fanny Stein, Slaveland, Strangerland, Sether, Larson, Rogstad, Knapskog are all staying. Mikkelsen at the minute I think we are going to let go. Mainly just because he's one of our highest earners and I don't think he justifies that wage. Volas I would like to keep hold of, but we're going to have to see if he is willing to sign a new deal. Hoyseth as well, see if we can bring him back on loan for another season. Bierlo we're going to let go. He's on £400 a week. He never really featured. He played 9 games, but 8 of them were off the bench, only 1 start. he came in as a squad filler, and that's exactly what he did. We have our new young wonder kid in Krog on the right wing, who I'm very excited to see how we can develop him. Berisha is our main striker next season. Dalby is sticking on, he's got another year left. And Dresdal we are going to let leave. It's a little bit sad, he's a local player from Varhau, but we're just going to let him go on. He's not close to good enough for the next division up, I don't think. The only way I would keep him is if he agreed another £100 a week contract, because then maybe when we have a few injuries, he could step in, potentially. So in terms of our under-19s, we ended up finishing joint top of the league, and unfortunately didn't win the league due to goal difference. But when you look at that and think where we were earlier in the season, we had a massive turnaround. We really did start to improve. Brina's under-19s did win the league. We did get top goal scorer in Franco though, so that's always a little positive there. Joachim Thorne finished second top goal scorer for Haugesund. And Brina did have top assist maker here, who we can't quite say how good he is, but we can assume he's probably a decent player. Now in terms of our youth team, I do think I might potentially promote this guy. I think he's got a lot of potential, he's going to develop well. And one of the experiments I did earlier this week that came out with the 4 Wonder Kids in Finland does show how strength develops in Football Manager, and it goes up dramatically as the players get older. So my panic of all of my youth players on low strength, that panic's completely gone now. Now I know how the game works. And if this guy can keep developing how he looks like he will, he could be a very good player for us in a couple of years. So I think next year he's going to be up and around the first team with the ability to continue to play for the under-19s when needed. But all in all, it's been a successful season for the squad and for the team. We do need to make some major overhaul in the summer. I'm going to try to keep the base of the youth we've got coming through, try to keep the base of the experienced players we've got, and just add some quality here or there and see what we can do to try to survive in the second tier. I think it's going to take us a few years to get out of that division. I don't think it's going to be as easy as this division was, even though at times it was a proper difficult challenge. But let's have a look through the rest of Norwegian football and just see how it's going to be shaping up going into next season then. So there is 2 games left in the Norwegian top flight. Strømsgodset look close to going down, and Sarpsborg could be entering the playoffs. Haugesund are already relegated, so we do have that game we can travel up the west coast to next season. And in the Obosliga then, Kristiansund go up along with Kongsvinger. Fredrikstad, Raufoss, Sogndal and Åsane are in the playoffs. So we are going to be coming up against Bryne, a local game next season. But unfortunately, obviously, Sandnes Ulf getting relegated means we will miss out on playing them next season, with Moss in the playoffs, Sandnes Ulf and Hood going down. So in our division, relegated with Valerenga's B team, Åsland's B team and Ørn Horten get relegated from there. And in the other division, Kvikkhalden, Sotra and Junkeren all get relegated. Now moving down into the 4th tier, there was an attacking midfielder from Lokomotiv Oslo who I was keeping an eye on, and the fact that they haven't been promoted means I might try to bring him into our squad and see if he can be a rotation player in the 2nd tier. I do think he looks good enough for that. But you can see Lys Kloster go up from that division. Hunnefoss are making a rise back up. Obviously a big club from years ago. Really nice stadium they have. And after being in the top flight in 2013, they've been down in the 4th tier the last few seasons now. But they are promoted back to the 3rd tier. And then if we go down again, you can see Viking 2 won our local regional division, with Frøya, Bremnes and Loddefjord getting relegated from it. The B team for Odds go up in that division there, with Don, Askelon and Randerson going down. And then in the 5th division, Ranne FK go up. And then finally in the 6th division, Asker get promoted, with Tromsø's B team going down to the 5th tier of Norwegian football, which is quite a shock actually. I fancied them to maybe be pushing to get back up into the 3rd tier of Norwegian football, but they've gone down again, which is a shock. It does mean they're going to be playing a lot more local teams next year. It does go to a very regional division at that level. Now, the cup final's not been played yet. That is played on the 10th of December. So what we will do is we will recap the cup winner at the start of next season, and I think maybe from next season I will leave these end of season reviews till after the cup final so we can do a proper recap of how the whole divisional system has gone. But that is it for Season 1. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Join me in the next episode where we will be starting Season 2 with Egersons in the Obosligaen, the second tier of Norwegian football.